In this video, we are going to go through some complex sentences in terms of their structure. You're going to notice some double shifts, some false shifts, etc. So let's read this one first, and of course we're going to note the structure. Despite years of urban living, Keith was hardly the model of civility. Indeed, he continued to behave blank even during those occasions that called for the utmost propriety. So what do you notice here? Well, we see here in the structure that there's a despite. Okay, so there's a contrast. But wait a second, when you have this contrast, after this comma here, usually there's a blank, and so it's easy to say, okay, well, the first part of the sentence is opposite to this part. That's the usual shift. But here, we don't have a blank, either before the comma or right after the comma. So we want to note this word indeed. So indeed actually shows that there's continuity between what we had before. Keith was hardly the model of civility. He continued to behave as hardly the model of civility. Or you can look at it this way. He was hardly the model of civility. The opposition here is what? Well, he's not civil or doesn't have civility. So that's what we're looking for here. The opposite of civility. And of course we go to the answer choices. And now we're able to match them. So, coyly, to be coy is to be shy and bashful. That is not the opposite of civility, or to be civil. Courteous is a synonym. I'm going for the opposite of courteous. Unethically. In this case, that's a little bit extreme. So you want to, of course, eliminate these extreme words in some cases. Obviously, if it fits the blank, then you don't want to eliminate it. But in this case, we're not going for something as extreme as unethical. To be uncivil or not civil doesn't mean you're really breaking some moral law. So that's out. And then we have the word churlish. To be churlish is to be rude and unmannered, and that works perfectly. Again, we always want to come up with the opposite of words here. Otherwise, we can sometimes get trapped by words like selfishly. Well, he was selfish. He just wanted to do things his own way. Sure, you can interpret the sentence like that, but it's not the best answer because selfish is not the opposite of civil. So that's out with that one, and there's D. So that's one example of complex structure. Now let's take a look at another sentence here. Not without her detractors. So right off the bat, what are we noticing here? Well, we're noticing that not without is an example of a double negative. Let's keep reading. Frida Kahlo nonetheless emerged. So even though people, not without her detractors means people weren't her biggest fans, even though many people didn't like her, she still nonetheless emerged. And then you'll notice this word albeit. Albeit can sometimes be a sentence shifter in of itself. But in this case, this is just showing when she emerged. It's not necessarily shifting the sentence. Again, it's not being an example of a false shift. And you will definitely see these in a lot of ETS questions, so watch out for those. The shifters have to do with the actual blank. So if we even got rid of this, it wouldn't do anything to the sentence. And that's oftentimes the best way to see if something is a false shifter or not. So again, not everybody liked her, but she still emerged as one of the, well, we want, again, the opposite of, not everyone liked her, still she emerged as one of the best. So we can put our own simple word in there. One of the best artists of Mexico in the 20th century. And then, of course, we eliminate. Hapless means unfortunate. That doesn't work. Preeminent means foremost at the top. That, of course, that works with best. So there's our answer. Sycophantic means she's fawning. She's kissing up to people. Doesn't work at all. Peripheral means second rate. Controversial, well, yeah, she could definitely be a controversial artist, but there's no context backing that up. And there, again, is our answer, preeminent. So always note the structure when you're going through here. Don't just gloss over these important words. But as you notice, when we saw not without her detractors, we broke it down in our own words. That means not everybody liked her. If you don't do that and you just try to read the entire sentence all the way through and then get to the end and think you can just put it together, that's going to get you in trouble. You want to break down bit by bit. And so you can say at the end, oh, I see. Okay, not everyone liked Frida Kahlo, but at the end of the day, now, later, she's an artist that is great, or one of the best. And there's our answer, preeminent.